करो। हाँ जी, पासवर्ड कोई नहीं हैगा, सिर्फ ईमेल आईडी पूछेगा। पाओ ईमेल आईडी पा के साइन इन कर दिया। हाँ जी, कर दो जी। साइन अप फ्री लिखा है साहब। अच्छा, फ्री करो। हाँ जी, करो। साइन अप फ्री करता। नाउ कम फॉर वेरिफिकेशन कंफर्म योर डेट ऑफ बर्थ। ये पहला तो नहीं हुआ है सारा, ये क्यों हो रहा है? पता नहीं क्यों हो रहा है सारा। डेट ऑफ बर्थ ये वो का कुछ का पहला ट्राई कर रहे हैं, ऑलरेडी बैठा है। क्यों हो रहा है? कल तो अच्छी टाइम कर रहे हैं। है ना? या चलो मैं मंथ पाता डे भी पा देना। हम्म, 15 yes, ये भी पता। Sign up. We have sent an email to Cheema so also click the confirmation link that email to आई होगी, देखियो ईमेल होते हैं। Good afternoon, everybody. We're looking forward for a great session today. Yeah. हाँ जी। करता और साइन इन करता। हाँ जी। We have sent an email. उनका कुछ अजय बोरे ने resend another mail करना। चाहे ने मीटिंग पता है ना, चाहे ने मीटिंग किया। हाँ जी। ईमेल आईडी या पर्सनल लिंक नहीं। मीटिंग आईडी 6226339444 आना चाहिए। कोई बात नहीं। हाँ जी। And now he says join. Welcome, Neelam. How are you doing? Now you see what has happened is वो CEO talks वाला वो पोस्टर जो आ गया वो कुछ नहीं है। Fantastic, आ गया ना ਉਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੋਣਾ, ਉਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਨਾਮ ਈਮੇਲ ਆਈਡੀ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਤੇ ਥੱਲੇ ਜੁਆਇਨ ਤੇ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੋਣਾ ਬਟਨ। अच्छा वो रजिस्टर। हाँ जी। क्लास नेम भी तो बहुत लंबा चौड़ा फिर करता। सिटी सिटी फोन सिटी अपना पाओ। हाँ जी, अपना पाओ जी, चंडीगढ़। हाँ जी। After that, choose industry, consultant accounting, advertising. Welcome, Ravindra ji. Call center. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ji. Yeah. Good. Who is this person?
से सज्जन कौन है?
नीलम है जी, नीलम खन्ना है। हाँ जी। रिक्वायर्ड इंफॉर्मेशन सारी पार्टी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन।
और गेस्ट स्पीकर इज इन लाइन। Our guest speaker is okay. What about Colonel Cheema? Is he on way?
Yeah, Colonel Cheema is on the way. I'm just assisting him to come on board.
Okay.
Yeah.
Today,
collaboration, excellence, opportunity, community partner ये वो आ रहा है जब मैं क्लिक किया वो थोड़ा हल होगा नहीं ਉਹ अलग मैसेज ਸੀਗਾ ਇਹ दूसरा ਹੁਣੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੈਂ ਭੇਜਿਆ ਇਹ ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਵਾਲਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਜੀ Good afternoon, Sanjeev ji. How are you doing? We're just waiting for Colonel Cheema to log in. He's having some difficulty and I'm just assisting him.
Okay. आप निकल लो वहाँ।
सर आप लोग प्लीज कन्वर्सेशन चालू रखें. आई एम जस्ट असिस्टिंग कर्नल चीमा, उनको थोड़ा सा इशू आ रहा है. ठीक है जी. और रविंद्र जी आप क्या कर रहे हैं आजकल? आज की नई ताजी क्या है?
हेलो.
हेलो.
हाँ. हेलो. अतुल कुछ आए आजकल. कल काफी बड़ी एक्टिविटी थी. कल 4:30 बजे शुरू हुआ, 9 बजे रात तक चलता रहा हम लोग का एक्टिविटी. एंड इट वाज वंडरफुल meeting. Of course, everything is going online only. And my all clients have one by one, they are coming. They were all in a real COVID situation. But now every one by one, people are coming up. Yesterday, 2 days back, means Monday, I could do some work, actual work, means which gives a return. Is one company. So काम शुरू हो गया, मतलब कंपनी के लोग आने लगे अपनी अपनी जगह पे, तो उन काम शुरू हो गया धीरे धीरे, क्योंकि वो जैसे ही काम पे आए तो काम शुरू हो गया. अभी सब सोए हुए थे 3 महीने से, सब एकदम बेचारे बुरे कंडीशन में थे सब लोग. तो चीजें एकदम अलग ढंग से चल रही थी. कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड की बात मैं बोल रहा हूँ. आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट द इंडिविजुअल तो सभी एक्टिव है. तो काम तो शुरू हो गया है. और संजीव जी कैसे हैं? Mike, oh great. Now I think Colonel Cheema is visible. Welcome Colonel Cheema. I can see you. You have to unmute it, Colonel Cheema. You have to unmute it here on the screen. Colonel Cheema, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I am Mishra. I am Ravindra. Now you are on. Great.
Can you see me now?
Yeah, wonderful.
Okay. I'm from EME, of course. I'm from EME. You also see me or what?
Sir?
You also EME or?
No, I am seeing you perfectly okay. Now you are
So
visible.
a very big round of applause for Colonel Cheema. And he's really put in a lot of effort. He has tried a number of times to come on CEO Talks. Now I'm sure we'll be able to see him more often.
Thank you.
So welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. So Colonel Cheema, as the name says, he is a retired armed forces person. After the armed forces, he has been spending a lot of time with entrepreneurs and other stakeholders. He is an author. He has published quite a few books. He's a motivational speaker. He is also a management speaker. He has also been speaking, or he has also been coaching at places like the IAS Academy in Missouri. And he spends his time contributing to other business owners. So today he has agreed to share some of his pearls of wisdom with us. And the topic that we'll be talking about today is performance management. So welcome, Colonel Cheema. Please share something about yourself.
Thank you, Atul. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, I must congratulate you all, because you are doing a work which is the most difficult in the entire world. You see, I always maintain that it is easier to get into IIM, IITs, etc. and IAS, but it is more difficult to become a good, successful entrepreneur. Now, the issue which I want to discuss with you is that since my childhood, ladies and gentlemen, I've been wondering, when will I be able to live in a developed India? We've been, hearing all these 72, 73 years, India is a developing nation. When are we going to become a developed nation? I am certain all of you want to live in a developed nation, isn't it? So if India has to develop, there is a three-pronged strategy. The first is, of course, freedom, development, and strength. Strength, economic strength, as well as military strength. And freedom and development is understandable, so I won't say anything about this. But the point is that performance management encompasses a lot of things. Effectiveness leading to efficiency, and all those who work in the organization, everyone is involved in performance management. Now, let me share with you certain basic concepts are the ground realities. The fact is that every business must generate profits. If it doesn't generate profits, the business dies. For it to survive and thrive, the business must generate enough profits to be sustainable and to be able to grow. The second fact is that getting things done from others is the most difficult thing in the world. You must have realized that doing it yourself is very easy. One can always get up and do a thing on one's own. But getting it done from others is the most difficult thing. You see, Buckingham and Kaufman in I think they wrote a book in which they brought it out that there are just about 16% of the people in any organization who are actively, 56% of the people in an organization, they are disengaged. And 16% are such who are actively disengaged, who are working against the organization. I'm certain you would have realized that every organization, particularly the government organization, there are only 15 to 20% of the people who really work, and the others are, I call them passengers. They also come. And similarly, in private organizations also, with all your efforts, the actively disengaged people who are not interested, who are just there to earn their paycheck, and that is about all, they will also be there, and you have to handle them. That is why I say that it is the most difficult thing to get work done from others. Another fact is that all managers must be leaders too. You see, if you try and appreciate the role of a manager, you are managers at whatever level, CEO is also a manager. Now, all managers must be good leaders too. And if you all the qualities which are expected of a manager and a leader, you feel that he or she has to be a juggler. So many things. How can you find a leader with all these qualities? There is no manager anywhere in the world who will have all these qualities which are expected for a successful leader or a successful manager. You see, but we must understand that the management is of the mind, whereas leadership is of the spirit. The difference. You see, management is of the mind. You can manage a person, but leadership belongs to the spirit, the inner card of a person. If you are able to touch that, only then the person will work for you. Like in the armed forces, how does a man get ready to be killed in the war, knowing fully well that 200 meters which he is ordered to walk is mined, and the moment he sets a foot on that, he will be blown off? Yet the person, how does that happen? That happens because of the inner card which one must be able to connect. And that is why leadership is of the spirit. One more fact, which is unfortunately a reality, that the professional dishonesty is rampant. Professional dishonesty. You see, the financial dishonesty can be handled. There is no doubt about it. That if the politician, businessman, and the bureaucrat, if they want to eradicate corruption from India, I have no doubt in 1 year, 90% of the corruption will be over. But the professional dishonesty, that is, I purposely do not do what I am expected to do, it is the worst form of corruption, as a matter of fact. I call this also a corruption, and this is the worst form of corruption. Now, what can you do about this? This, no government, no bureaucrat, nobody else can handle it. You alone can handle that. So you see, actually, they say that India has the highest density of religious institutions in the world, highest density. You see so many mandirs, gurdwaras, and all kinds of, and the magazines and the TV channels. But in spite of that, we have been telling people, and right from childhood, we've been told work is worship. But most of us think that worship is work, not work is worship. And because we do not believe in that, 93% of the people are deeply religious in India. Despite that, the professional honesty, unfortunately, is lacking in India. Now, there are certain do's and don'ts people talk about. People talk about do's first and then they go to don'ts. I unfortunately want to talk about the don'ts first because I think don'ts are more important than the do's. The first thing which I wish to talk about is there was a book by, as I said, Buckingham and Kaufman, in which they said what the greatest managers in the world do differently. What do they do differently? They are not the greatest managers just for that. There must be some strong reason that they have been able to achieve great heights as managers. And one of the things is, the name of the book is Break All Rules. What are the rules? How do we hire people? How do we engage people in our organizations? You would have seen that most of us hire people based on qualifications and experience. Qualification and experience. Now, qualifications and experience do not guarantee you the talent and potential of a person. Why must one hire a person who has more experience or who has the qualification and he has been working for donkey years, say 20 years in a particular profession? One must hire a person who has the potential and talent. I'll give you a classic example. One of my nieces, she's in USA for the past about 22 years. She was just plain graduate here in India. When she went there, she was selected by a bank, and in 22 years, she is the president of a private bank with plain graduation to her credit. There is no other qualification. Here, can you think of anyone entering the banking industry with only graduation as a qualification? Here, you want the qualification. MBA finance is the minimum qualification for you to enter the banking industry. The point I am making is, it is extremely important that we have a different mindset. What is a different mindset? That we have to hire people. How do you judge the potential of a person? How do you find out the talent of a person? You see, unfortunately, it is a fact of life that most of the seniors, CEOs, and we at the top, we do not have the ability to judge the ability of our juniors. This is one very major issue. You see, there is one Duncan Kruger fact. What it says is that judging your ability is more than actual. Most of us are victims of that. I think I know this, I can handle it, I will be able to tackle on that. You see, all kinds of things. Your ability, you are over-assessing, and the other's ability, you are trying to divide by the same figure and say that the other person is no good. Now, the ability to judge the ability of others, your subordinates, your colleagues, that is a very important factor. It is unfortunate that, so how do you manage the talent? How do you get talented people? And once you get them, how do you retain them? That means every organization, a good organization, must have a talent management system. How do you design a talent management system? It is simple. It is a separate subject, and we can talk about talent management system at a later stage. If you give me an opportunity, I'll be able to share that, how to prepare a talent management system. But the fact is that talent management systems are required to select people based on their potential and their talent and ability to go with you. That is one, not the qualification and experience, that he has so much experience, so he's good enough. No. The other thing is that rather than laying down the processes and procedures, which most of us do, all our ISOs and everything else, what does it say? you follow this procedure A, B, C, D, and you get this. Unfortunately, it is not true. It doesn't happen like that. Unless you clearly define the outcome, you know, what is expected, and then you give the freedom of action to that person to achieve that. I don't mean that means have no meaning. Means also are important. But what is more important for you is the end. And if you are, embroidered in the processes and procedures and SOPs, which we lay down and say, follow this is the SOP for marketing, this is the SOP for manufacturing, this is the SOP for sales. Now, all those SOPs, if specifically you go step by step to follow those SOPs, you will never be able to get the desired predefined outcomes which you want. So what is required is that you have very clear vision of what you want, and after that, let the person do it. The problem in this kind of system is there are some workers in every organization whom I call skunk workers. You know what skunk? Skunk is a small animal with pin-like things coming out, and it gives the obnoxious smell. Now, skunks are those who are very good at their work, but they have some tangent, something different, whether it is their temperament or they're overconfident or whatever. And because of that, they need to be handled in a specific manner. I gave an example of Dhanraj Pillai. All of you may have heard about him. He was a great center forward of Indian hockey team, but he was indisciplined. He could not be handled by KPS Gill, and KPS Gill threw him out. Despite everyone opposing this, because he was the best center forward in the world. But he did not fit in the team. Now, some of your best workers will not fit in the team because of many reasons which you have to understand, and you should be able to bring him back in the mainstream. These skunk workers are very, very important for your organization. You have to identify them. You have to deal them in a different manner rather than the same system which you follow for everyone. See, one of the, I suppose it is a human tendency that being too eager to succeed. In anxiety to succeed, we try all kinds of things and we commit mistakes. One should actually be doing what you love to do. You see, success, different people define it in different ways. I define it the way Steve Jobs used to say. Steve Jobs used to say, success is when you find what you love. You find what you love to do. Now, unfortunately, in our system, we do not do what we love to do, but we find an easy and simple way of getting into some business, whatever business it is, without really knowing that you have love for that. You see, in 1982, a book was published, Tom Peters Jr. and one of the colleagues. The name of the book was In Search of Excellence. I have no doubt many of you must have read that book. I read it in 1982 and keep it as a reference material with me even now. The book says the best option for an entrepreneur is to stick to knitting. What is sticking to the knitting? Sticking to the knitting is a mother, if she knows the knitting, she'll be able to tell her daughter how to knit, and the daughter will be able to learn it so quickly. So what is the shared kind of thing which you core business? What is your core business? In our hurry and in our anxiety to succeed, we try many different things, forgetting the core business many a times. You see, one thing which, ladies and gentlemen, I strongly believe in personally, as well as I've been talking to people about this, that you can shrink or expand your life, your business, whatever you want to do, proportionate to the courage you have to learn new technology and innovation. If you are able to learn the courage, you see, you need courage to try out something new. Everyone doesn't have that kind of courage. People want to play safe. And I have heard the other day, I heard Mr. Cheema of Cheema Boilers. He was talking about the courage to reject the job which he was being offered. He could have become a captain of the ship, and he refused that. He said, no, I want to buy a ship. I do not want to become the captain of a ship. I want to buy it. I want to have my own ship. Now, this courage of vision that I can do that, I must do that, I must do something different. And that courage in new technologies, thinking globally. How do you think globally? I mean, in today's world, if you do not think globally, can anyone be successful? You can be successful to a very, very limited. I mean, you can't be happy with the, being 10% of your potential you are using and you are getting what you could have got without much effort. But really speaking, if you want to achieve something, then you have to stretch yourself much more than that. And to be able to stretch yourself, you must go global, you must think global. Most of the people don't think global. We have to, you see, we have our own operating environment. Our operating environment is a difficult operating environment. That is why I said right in the beginning that I salute your guts that you have taken up the challenge of doing the most difficult thing in the world, specifically and especially being in India, doing business in India, despite whatever the government may claim. In spite of that, it is still very, very difficult to do business in India. You see, to do business in India, to my mind, a good businessman must have a very good emotional agility. People talk about emotional intelligence and emotional quotient and things like that. I only want to talk about emotional agility. You know what is emotional agility? Emotional agility is actively calm and calmly active, balance, focused. You are focused on a particular thing and you introspection, balance, and that is possible only perhaps meditation. Different people have different ways and means of achieving that. But the ideal thing is 15, 20 minutes or half an hour in the morning and half an hour before going to the bed at night. This 1 hour is the most important hour of your 24 hours which you have. What do you do in the first, those 30 minutes when you get up in the morning? When you get up, and of course, it is very important for a good CEO to early to bed, early to rise. This is the old wisdom. Everyone believes in this. The best time of the day is, of course, early in the morning when you are not being disturbed by anybody and you are on your own and you can coolly and calmly think and plan for the future. See, I remember in 1986 when I was commanding a battalion at Leh, I had a staff captain. The staff captain received a call from my boss, a general GOC, and he said that, where is Cheema? And my staff captain said that, sir, he is having his no disturb time. Then nobody disturbs nobody. Your quiet time. I used to call it quiet time. Quiet, half an hour of quiet time. The GOC was naturally upset and I was called. I went and explained to him that what is quiet time and what do I do in quiet time. And you'll be surprised, he called all the commanders, brigade commanders and COs and explained it to them that it's a good idea to plan the day. Quiet time. Nobody disturbs you. I mean, you don't disturb anybody and nobody disturbs you. Half an hour of that quiet time, okay, in the morning. And before going to sleep, you get good sleep if you have clear conscience. You know, Narayana Murthy says the best pillow in the world is clear conscience. So, of course, I'm assuming that I have clear conscience and I'll be able to go to sleep 5 minutes after I hit the pillow. But the fact is that is the time when you can plan next day. What is important for you and how you are going to handle it, and some kind of understanding and planning of how the thing is going to be tomorrow. So if you are able to do that, you will be Then, ladies and gentlemen, I am a strong believer of certain things which are the fundamentals of lasting success. What are the fundamentals of lasting success? First is, of course, integrity and ethics. Integrity and ethics. Humility. Did you see that video on TV when Narayana Murthy touched the feet of Ratan Tata? Many of us would have seen that. Narayana Murthy touching the feet of Ratan Tata. How is it that most of the successful people have two unique qualities? One, they smile a lot. They smile a lot on and off camera. Politicians only smile on camera, and off camera they are a different face. But a good person smiles on or off the camera, smiles a lot. And the second, humility. Humility and magnanimity. I always, recall what our friend, Mandela, he wrote a book. The name of the book was Long March to Freedom. In that, he's narrated certain things where he's being extremely magnanimous and he's forgiving the people. He tells a story where he says that a person used to come whenever he asked for water during those 27 years. One of the guards, he would come and pee on his face whenever he asked for water. And when he became the president of South Africa, he got an opportunity to meet that man and he forgave him. He did not. So, negative emotions. You cannot afford the luxury of negative emotions. Negative emotions cause so much of harm to human beings, especially to a worker like you. You can't have favorites and the basics of human resources management. Basics. You see, what are the basics of human resources management? I suppose some of the basics one must learn from the armed forces. I'm proud of saying that the armed forces, perhaps there are aberrations. I won't deny that. There would be problems, there are aberrations, and after all, armed forces are also from the same society we have come out. But fact is that 99.99% of the armed forces personnel believe in very strong basics of human resources management. You cannot think of any army officer or air force or naval officer having a cup of tea or having his meals without ensuring that his batman, his driver, his other sevadas have had that. Now, that is the fundamental which one must learn. Now, and the fact is that, you see, right from beginning, we've been told that sacrifice and hard work are great virtues. There is no doubt about it. I agree that hard work and sacrifice are very important virtues. But the fact is that while I have seen my parents doing it for their children, I have done it for my children, and I am now see my children doing it for their children, sacrifice and hard work. And when somebody, while sacrificing and doing hard work, got health issue, people used to declare him or her a hero. Kamal kardi, great. Unfortunately, that is not the right thing to do. Have you seen or recall the flight attendants, announcement when you are, that we are cruising at 30,000 feet height, and in case of emergency, the oxygen mask will automatically drop in. And she says that if you are traveling with children or some elderly person, please ensure that you fix your mask first before trying to help others. What does it mean? It means love yourself no matter what. There are no circumstances when you should not take care of yourself. And it is not being selfish or against compassion. As a matter of fact, it is complementary to compassion. If you are not able to take care of yourself, how will you be able to take care of others? How will you be able to help others? So, looking after yourself, your mind, body, soul, keeping all that intact. And after that, trying to help others. That is what is expected. You can't be helping others. You burn yourself out. Day in, day out, you are working and you burn yourself out. How does it help others? How does it help your organization, your company, your workers, your family? So, you see, you can win without losing. The old concept that you can win only by losing, that is by sacrificing, putting in a lot of hard work, only then you can win. That is no more true. You can win while looking after yourself, loving yourself, taking care of yourself, and even then, and that is why you will be able to do much more, much better, whatever work you are doing. So the basics are fundamentals of man management. What are the basics of fundamental? You see, you should be able to do not undermine the individuality of an individual. All of us know that, criticize privately and praise openly in front of everyone. Does that in real this thing, does it happen? It doesn't happen like that. You must take care of, I give you an example. I was working as the executive director of a company, and there we had a PN. His name was Jagat Singh. He used to come from 3-4 kilometers away from Chandigarh. He would come on bicycle. And he was around 55 years old man. One day, when I walked in my office, I saw that a young executive, about 30 years old, he was calling the PN, Sardar Jagat Singh, he was calling, "Oi, Jagge pani leke aa." I was shocked that that man, who was all important when he started from his residence, from a home, he is the breadwinner, he is Sardarji to his wife, he is Papa to his daughters. He had 2 daughters. And he's all important person and a very, very important person. He cycles 3 kilometers to the office where he earns 8,000 rupees. And there, a 30-year-old boy calls them, "Oi, Jagya, pani leke aa." Now, see, you must recognize the individuality of an individual. Respect the individuality of an individual. People are people. They need to be looked after. They need to be respected. And in our culture, when we are talking about performance management, winning over others is, you see, when there are a couple of people in an organization, you bring 2 objects together, there's a friction, there is a sound, and there's a heat generated. Similarly, when there are 30, 20, 10, 15 people working in an organization, there is bound to be friction, there are bound to be sound, there are bound to be all kinds of things. What do you do with inmate things when there you put oil and the thing problem is solved? Here, when you are dealing with human beings, what do? I call it social lubricant. What is social lubricant? Social lubricant is when you call the PN to get you a glass of water. If you request him, ask him in a respectable and decent manner, "Jagat Singh ji, pani le aao," I guarantee you that Jagat Singh will clean the glass and put fresh water and bring it respectfully in a tray and offer it to you in a manner of preference. But if you tell him, "Oh, Jagya, pani leke aa," he will perhaps use the yesterday's water and bring it, and to show the resentment, he will bang it on the table. So, excuse me and please, thank you. Have you seen, I mean, all of us have been abroad many times. You would have seen that those people use these 2 words, please and thank you, so much. They are very confident when they use that word, please and thank you. Here, I mean, it is all right in elite societies or in universities or in offices of senior people and things like that. There may be please and thank you may be used. But in workshops, in working places, in business houses, I have not seen this being used too often. So using please, thank you, and of course, the most important, most potent is the word sorry. Sorry. It is unfortunate that sorry is not in the DNA of people from the north. I am from the north, and I know that people from Punjab, Haryana, UP, this side of, sorry. Sorry is, man, goli mari hai. Sorry. You are prepared to shoot a person dead, but you are not prepared to say sorry after having committed a mistake. Having gone wrong, it requires more courage than shooting another man dead to say sorry. It requires a lot of courage. It requires a lot of guts. And if you are able to say sorry and cross that threshold that I committed a mistake and I have said sorry, I tell you, you will become a great human being. It is very difficult, and most of us are not able to do that. But unfortunately, unless you learn to say sorry, and excuse me is a very rarely used word. Excuse me is also very important. That you now it is a fact of life that I always say there are no bad soldiers, there are only bad officers. The point is, no bad soldiers. The men you are working with, your colleagues, your seniors, your juniors, all of them, unless you treat them the way you expect them to treat you, whatever way you treat them, you must expect that they will also treat you back the similar manner. So unless you treat them, the men are good, it is only the leaders, it is only the people who have problems. Now, I can carry on, but I want to give enough time to my friends, all the friends, to ask me any specific questions, and I'll endeavor to try and answer all those questions. Hello, Atul. If you have more time, I can, of course, carry on, but I was thinking that maybe it is time that we should be able to take the question and answers.
Fantastic. Awesome. So for me, this has been a really, really mind-blowing kind of a conversation.
Thank you, Atulji. Thank you so much.
Right? So they say, Parsa Parsu Parasram, Paise Tere Teen Naam.
Yes.
So that is what I got present to when you were talking about Jaga. Sardar Joginder Singh. Right? So, and I was getting present to it. Okay. So here I would take this opportunity to say sorry to Sanjeev Ahuja. I've been a very short-tempered guy, and many a times I have been not present to the people around me. And as you said, there are no bad soldiers, there are only bad officers. I have personally not been a great officer so far, and I'm working on it. So thank you for creating this conversation for us. Can I request all of you to please ask your questions? I'm sure there are a few pearls of wisdom which are yet to be unearthed. And you will get them only if you ask for them.
Atulji, I just want to add something. You see, am I audible? Okay.
Yeah, you're very much audible and visible.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. You see, Albert Einstein famously said once, he says that in this materialistic world, the deeply religious people are the good workers. And there are very few good workers. We talked about this, that everyone is busy in amassing money and trying all kinds of things. But those people who work professionally good workers, they are the really religious people. This is a famous saying, exact words I don't know. And another great saying is by Bill Gates. There is a book, many of you must have come across that book. I have that book, that the name of that book is Business at the Speed of Thought. There he talks about, he says the word is unfair, get used to it. That you cannot expect the things to be the way you want them to be. You see, one of the mistakes most of us make is we want to run the world the way we want it. But things don't happen like that. The different people, they are all unique human beings, 780 crore people in the world. Everyone is absolutely unique. And the people will behave according to their own personality. That personality may be part of their nature or nurture, whatever. But the fact is, you cannot expect others to behave the way you expect them to behave. Henry Ford famously he used to say that I want my workers to come with their feet and legs and hands. Unfortunately, they bring their brains also to the factory. Once he made a statement that he did not want the brains of the human beings to be with them when they came to the factory. You see, you cannot have a switch on and switch off. When you start from your home and you reach the factory, you switch off and you are no more a domestic person. Now you are a working person in the organization factory. When you go back home, you switch off and you are now only a domestic person. What happens in your personal life or what happens in working life in the factory, they directly impact you. And it must be taken as a package and not as different aspects. And now you're welcome. Any questions?
And just before we open for questions, I would like to announce it to everybody that Colonel Cheema, he has taken up to be a mentor for e-growth, okay, based in the Tri-City of Chandigarh. He is obviously he's accessible to everybody in e-growth across India or across the globe. Primarily, he would be taking care of the Punjab, Chandigarh, Haryana region. So you're most welcome to reach out to him and seek his pearls of wisdom whenever you please. And to whatsoever degree it is possible for him, he will definitely honor. So thank you, sir, for doing this. This is definitely a great
pleasure.
contribution.
It is a great pleasure for me to be interacting.
Yeah. All right. So can we have some awesome questions? You can please unmute yourself and ask the questions.
Well done, Colonel Saab. Great talk.
Good afternoon, Bhai Saab. Good afternoon. Thank you so much.
Say great.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Grateful to you.
And thank you,
okay,
HS Cheema Saab, for having introduced. Yeah, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Malwai. Good afternoon.
Okay, so Colonel Saab, my name is Sukdeepak Malwai. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon to you.
Forum. Thank you very much for a very illuminating discourse.
Thank you.
You know, as a son of a colonel from the Indian Army,
I'm
great to meet a person like you.
So happy to know
so
you.
Many things. I'm also proud that you are now one of us. I'm also the e-growth member for, and mentor for Mumbai.
Yes, I was told by Atul.
Yeah, so it's so nice to have a person like you, and
Thank
it will be wonderful to exchange, notes with you and learn from you. So,
I'll be happy to share whatever little I have. It is a pleasure to be sharing. Knowledge shared is multiplied.
Absolutely.
And love, I suppose, these are the only two things which, if shared, get multiplied and don't get reduced.
Absolutely. Thank you.
One, having a knowledge repository within and dying with that knowledge repository makes no sense. See, if you have something, it becomes your duty and responsibility to be sharing it with others. Before, in any case, at the end of the day, all of us are dead. So it is better that whatever little you have, you keep sharing it and keep multiplying it. Unfortunately, in India, I have realized that ours is not a knowledge sharing society, ours is a knowledge depressing society. Knowledge depressing. You see, I want to, people say that it is power. They say, we used to learn as children that knowledge is power. Knowledge is power as long as I keep it to myself. And if it is shared with everyone, then it no more remains a power. So that is why most of the people like to keep it with themselves and be powerful without realizing that that power is short-lived. And unless knowledge is used, it doesn't become power unless it is used. You see, knowledge used only becomes power. Having knowledge with you doesn't make you powerful. Unless you use that knowledge, you don't become powerful. So I think we must shift from knowledge depressing society to knowledge sharing. And Atulji is doing a great work by this kind of platform, you know, where we are able to share each other's views and understand each other better.
Thank you, sir. So we would like to increase the numbers so that we share it faster.
Yes,
Yes.
that's the idea.
Anybody else?
Yes, Atulji.
Yeah, please.
Sheetal here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, panels. Jai Hind.
Little louder, ma'am.
I'm Sheetal Dhumri.
Little louder. Yeah.
Sir, now can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Now it is better. Much better.
Yeah, Jai Hind, sir. I was also from NCC. I've spent 5 years in NCC. I'm from 7 Maharashtra Girls Battalion. And I was very nice in rifle shooting also. So also I found that while my training, each and every citizen of India should go for at least NCC or army basic training, so he could serve very nicely to our country and having a very nice thought pattern also. So this is nice, very nice to talk to you. I am first generation entrepreneur and I'm a vendor of Hindustan Petroleum Corporation, BPCL, RCF as well as railway. My question is that what was that situation which turns you towards the entrepreneurship or towards the writer? What was basic instinct behind that?
Ma'am, first let me talk about your, you know, NCC thing. I am so proud of it. Fact is that my wife was an NCC officer. Unfortunately, she's no more. She represented in, the Republic Day parade. She was there in 1960. She was an NCC officer herself. So I am very fond of people from NCC. I am not an entrepreneur. I took premature retirement from Army in 1994, and my passion is training and development. And so I started teaching in Punjab University MBA program, and then of course I got the opportunity to become principal of Bharati Vidya Bhavan's College of Communication and Management and things like that. But what I have been doing all these years, and even during my service in Army for about 15 years, I was in a faculty called Faculty of Industrial Engineering, in which I was we call it in Army, directing staff. Instructors are called directing staffs. So I was the directing staff for 15 years while in Army. Later on, I thought, you see, this is what one has to understand as an entrepreneur, that you have to work on the strengths of the people. All of us, every human being has a weakness and every human being has a strength. Now, weaknesses may take the entire lifetime to control them, and one may not be able to control the weaknesses. But if you are able to understand and appreciate your strength, your confidence in your strengths, that this is my strength, and if you are a confident person, then you will be able to work on those strengths and you will be able to move much. You see, I'm very fond of, there are 8 words which I keep telling my, young boys and girls and young entrepreneurs. Those 8 words are, I think I am better than, I am better than I think I am. I am better than I think I am. You see, you have to have that confidence in your own abilities. You have that ability. I mean, whether others recognize it or not, it is a different issue. But you must recognize your own abilities, your own strengths. So I am not an entrepreneur. I tried once something and I failed, and I should have had the perseverance to carry on, but I didn't have the means to carry on that, and that is why I stopped that. But I am very happy doing what I am doing. That is training and development activities. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes,
They say failures are the pillars of success.
Yeah, of course, of course. Failure. If you want to know something about the perseverance, think of Abraham Lincoln. Out of the 18 elections which he fought, he won only 2, and then became the greatest president of USA. We are talking about that great man even today. He had that kind of, I'm certain you know the story of this great man, that when he was failing in his election, losing the elections, he got tuberculosis, He lost all his finances, and because of all those finances, his sweetheart also left him, and he was literally in depression for many years. But then he bounced back and became the 16th president of USA. And whenever I go to USA, I've been thrice, I go and stand in front of that Lincoln Memorial and look at that man with wonder that what a great man he was. So perseverance, of course, is a very, very important factor. Where I call it teat. To be able to succeed, you must be a deed. So deeds always succeed. Okay.
Awesome. All right. So we are already at 2 minutes past 4. The time is actually over. We are still here for a couple of more minutes. The conversation is just about warming up. Rizwana, you wanted to ask something?
Yes, Atul. Good evening, Cheema ji.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening.
Yeah. Actually, as a women entrepreneur, how to deal with men?
Who abuse and who yes. I think there are some unique strengths in women. Much better. They are psychologically much stronger than men. It is a fact of life. I have written in Tribune and other newspapers when women were they were to get permanent commission in army. There were many old hat generals who opposed it, and I have published 3 articles, one in the Tribune, one in Times of India, and one in Indian Express, supporting that why women must get permanent commission. The fact is, women have certain strengths which men do not have. Sharing, for example, confidence, psychological strength, and being firm. Why don't you look up to people like Kiran Bedi and our own entrepreneur, great entrepreneur, what is the name of the lady? Shaw, Kiran Shah. What great, and of course Bhattacharya, who was the chairperson of the SBI. Now all these ladies have succeeded despite all the problems the men created for them. In our society, though we may say that we are equal and all kinds of things are first class, but fact is women have to face some kind of this thing from the men. And when men use abusive language, they fight, in workplace, that it is difficult for a woman to control it. There's no doubt about it. But the women are much better than men in controlling difficult situations. Anywhere, you see. So have your confidence in your place and be firm. Politeness and firmness. These 2 things is a deadly combination, let me tell you. If you are polite, but at the same time firm, and the other person knows that the madam means business, nobody will be taking you for granted. So the only way is that slowly and steadily keep doing what you are doing without losing your patience. That is the only way, ma'am, in our society.
So Cheema sir, my name is Ahuja.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What is, I mean, I don't know if, what are the, I mean, key skills you think one can learn from women? Because anybody, I mean, as you said, there are, so to say, the superior sex, so to say. But what are the things which a male should learn from a female?
Male should learn from female patience, psychological. Have you seen that in certain difficult situations, at least I have seen, that ladies are able to handle the difficult situations and, much better than men.
Yeah.
See, unfortunately.
Sir, my apologies to my way of thinking is that they are able to handle it better because they blame it on the man.
That.
I mean, on a lighter, that's on a lighter vein, but that also happens, right?
So you tell me, isn't a girl child in our country, in our kind of system, is she not, told to share right from the beginning? She's, she's coaxed, she's persuaded to share the things with others as compared to the boys. Then they develop that kind of psychological strength to bear. And because the nature has made them to be what they are, childbearing is the most difficult thing in the world. There is everyone, I am all the fathers and mothers and others would understand that a lady who bears the child, gives birth to a child, that she is able to have that inner strength within her, and she is able to handle the things much better. Those days, which passes before delivery of the child, that itself gives her a great kind of strength to stand up to anything. This is my feeling.
Good afternoon, Colonel Cheema.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Yeah, I'm Sanjeev Ahuja here. I just wanted to ask you, what inspired you to leave the army and get into the business? And after getting into business, you think you have been able to achieve what you wanted to?
Sandeep, firstly, I have not got into business. I am only into training and development, and I have been working for businessmen like you far after retirement. I took premature retirement due to certain personal reasons. And, I wanted a posting at Chandigarh. I couldn't get the posting to Chandigarh. So I thought and I had confidence that I am good at training and development. So I started teaching in Punjab University, I told you, MBA programs. Now, after that, I felt that this is one strength which I can use for the benefit of the society. And I started, I am not a businessman, but at the same time, as I right in the beginning said, that hats off to people like you, the entrepreneurs. You are doing the most difficult job in the world, because being a successful entrepreneur, specifically in a country like ours, is something unique, something great. And it requires so many things within a person that it is very difficult to succeed in India. And still, those who succeed, they are great people. Yes, sir. So, Sanjeev ji, I am not a businessman. I wish I were a businessman, but temperamentally, I don't think most of the armed forces officers fit into that mold. You know why? Because our training is entirely different kind of training. The kind of training which I have is different, and that doesn't fit in perfectly in the business world.
Sir, may I add something?
Yes, sir.
So you were talking about KPS Gill and the hockey episode, right? So I'll talk about the cricket episode. So there is a gentleman named Sachin Tendulkar, who is among the finest cricketers on this planet.
Right.
And there is a person behind Sachin Tendulkar whose name is Mr. Achrekar.
Yes, yes.
Achrekar may not be the best cricketer on this planet.
Yes.
But he knows how to create the best cricketer in this planet.
Great.
So you may not be an entrepreneur. You may have chosen not to be an entrepreneur. You may have given up on the first attempt on being an entrepreneur. But there is a lot that you've been contributing to the entrepreneurs.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
I think that is also the way you can contribute to the entrepreneurship. So that is the way I have chosen. Thank you.
Atulji,
Atulji,
I think so. He is a Achrekar for us, and we are the Sachin Tendulkar.
Am I right? My goodness, ma'am, I don't deserve all this kind of this thing. I am, very humble, very modest person. I mean,
sir, you need to get the same dose what you were talking about. So sometime back you were talking about Narayan Murthy, and you were talking about him touching the feet of Ratan Tata. So you said there are two characteristics of these guys. One is this smile. One is this smile on and off the camera.
Of course.
You do that. And they have a lot of humility, and that is what you've just...
I think that is a very important virtue. As a matter of fact, they say that humility is the mother of all the virtues. Humility and patience. If somebody has these two virtues, everything will come together.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sir, I would like to ask you one question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
sir. Just let me understand your perspective about those males who are dominating natures, right? I would understand your perspective only. If you were able to share with me, then it's good.
I mean, it is unnatural to be nominating a female. You see, physical strength,
Yeah.
size of your biceps does decide what you have here in your brain. All of us are blessed with 86 billion neurons. A woman is also blessed with 86 billion neurons as a male. Physical strength is only one aspect of your life. There are so many other aspects of life. And the other aspects are, for example, patience, humility, sharing. These are the qualities which a mother, the kind of love the mother gives to the child. Now, father doesn't give that kind of love to the child. There is no doubt about it. You ask anyone, everyone will talk about mother first and only then father, for whatever reason. The fact is that those who are of that kind of nature, they must review their total introspection. I think introspection is the word, that they must look within and try and see that what is it that they have and the lady doesn't have. As a matter of fact, lady perhaps has more than that. And because of that, we should respect the ladies. My wife was with me for almost 50 years and we haven't had any fight throughout our life. As a matter of fact, it was a perfect compatibility, and my relatives and friends used to tell me that, why don't you fight? We have never seen you quarreling with each other. The basic principle is that never carry it forward to the next day. If you have a problem, sort it out the same day and don't carry that problem forward between husband and wife. If you have an issue, that issue must be sorted out the same day. It must not be carried forward to the next day, and that problem will be over.
Rather, but sorry,
sir. Yes, sir. No, I was saying don't put it
if
into the carpet.
I mean, if you take the initiative to solve it, is it not a sign of weakness?
No, not at all. No, I think it is a sign of strength. That being able to say sorry first. Genuinely, if you are genuinely, you've done a wrong thing, you committed a mistake by raising your voice or any such thing, then I think it is befitting that you say sorry and the thing will be over. And this will, you see, you expect from others what you give it to them. If you give respect, it is a mutual thing, isn't it? The other person will also understand. In arguments, what happens is, if there are two people who are arguing, both want the other person to understand their point of view first. Suppose I am having an argument with you, sir, and if I give you the opportunity to say something, whatever you want to say, won't I be in a better position to tackle you and answer you back once you have spoken and told me all? I have the ammunition to get back to you because you have already. So it is better that I give you the opportunity to say what you want to say first. So let the other person say what the other person wants to say. And if you do that, the other person will be very reasonable. And that becomes a win-win situation for both. You see, in human life, our personal relationship, our intimate relationship, there is no win-lose relationship. Nobody wins and nobody loses. Both lose. So the best relationship is win-win. Win-win relationship is possible only if you let the other person put across his or her point of view first, and then you put across your point of view. And the only way of differing with other is, sir or madam, you have a different point of view, I have a different point of view. Not that you are wrong. Nobody is wrong. The other person may also be right. It is possible that both of you are right. Is it possible or not? It is possible that both of you are right. But there is a difference of opinion. So letting the other person understand that you have a different point of view, I have a different point of view. And perhaps we can converge by understanding, mutual understanding.
Awesome. Anybody else? All right. So, sir, if I may ask you.
Yes.
There is a question which Rizwana has put on the chat box. I think it's a very good question.
I think that question got answered, but nonetheless, you can ask again if you want.
You are welcome, sir. Welcome. Let me. What was the question? May I?
So the question was how to handle people who abuse, mistreat, or disrespect us. We would assume us is women. Is it Rizwan?
Again, I would say that it is unfortunate that in our society, I have seen, I'll give you a live example. I don't mind sharing it with you. I was working as director in DAV College, Chandigarh, and there were 4 or 5 boys from villages. They were abusing each other, vulgar abuses. And they were girls and they were lady teachers and all. Myself and the principal, I am a short man, 5 feet 6 inches. The principal was 6 feet 2 inches tall and very happy man. So we were both walking and we overheard these boys abusing in Punjabi vulgar language. So I caught hold of his hand and Mr. So-and-so, say something. You are the principal. You have more power, more authority, and you are a bigger man. Say something. He said, no, Colonel Sahab, like that. I couldn't leave it at that. I just went to those boys, 4 of them, and I told them, I said, son, you have a mother, of course, a sister also. 2 of them, they touched my feet, they apologized and said, sorry, sir, we will never do it again. Now, moral courage to be able to stand up. You see, a person who cannot stand up to anything which is right will fall for anything then. A person who cannot stand up for even the right thing will fall for anything. So have the moral courage to stand up. Doesn't matter. At the most, those boys would have ignored me or said, what do I care about you? Karunga. This is the worst thing, worst scenario. I was prepared to face that. Later on, those 2 boys, out of those 4, 2 boys came to my office. I made them sit, gave them a cup of tea, and for 15-20 minutes, we discussed the issue. I have no doubt that they would have gone back with a lesson that they will not abuse, at least in the presence of ladies and girl students. So, moral courage to stand up and say have your say. This is, I think, my take. I would rather like to do, and for that you need some, you have to have that moral confidence and that kind of thing. So you stand up.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. So, sir, thanks a lot for taking time out. And I know the kind of duel you had to go through before you logged into Zoom today. But fortunately,
I
you got
request
through
you to have it sorted out so that next time
now I think it is already sorted out. Next time it will not ask you.
Okay.
So what happens is, if you go to somebody's place and the dog does not know you, initially it barks. Next time you go, it doesn't.
Okay. Now that I have got in, now the guard will let me in.
Atulji.
Yeah, Haji.
There was one more question for Colonel Cheema. His telephone number by Rizwana, but I think Atulji can help us put it.
Yeah, Colonel Sahab, you can please give your number in the chat box, or you tell me, I'll write it down.
98780.
Just one moment for everyone in the meeting.
98780 212 84.
98780
Right.
All right, sir. Okay, so thanks a lot, sir. So we look forward for more engaging conversations, and we definitely look forward for a lot more engagement. So both, so we've got 2 of the mentors today on this call. Mr. Sukhdeepak Malwai, as well as Colonel Cheema. We also have Mr. Shripad Kulkarni, who's from Nasik, and Dr. G.V. Kumar, who's from Chennai. And we got Kiran Jurani, who's from New Jersey, US, and Sanjay Lal, who's from Canada. So this is the build-up of the mentors as of now. We're continuously on look for more mentors to join us on eGrowth and create an ecosystem, or rather take the ecosystem to the next level. So as you were speaking about President Lincoln, so let us buy another word from him, a word or another phrase from him: by the entrepreneurs, of the entrepreneurs, about the entrepreneurs. So that is what eGrowth is all about.
Great.
Okay. So thanks for joining the journey, and thanks for taking the baton, and we'll take it further. Tomorrow we've got a very interesting conversation by a gentleman named Yogesh Wadhwani. He is somebody who works on sanitized operation theater. So he will be talking about one, how you can sanitize your in today's world. We need to have clinical sanitization in our home places as well. He will be talking about it. All right. Yeah, Sanjeev, do you want to say something?
Yeah, tomorrow morning we all have a inner circle meeting at 8 o'clock in the morning. All of you are invited in that. Atul will be taking the create session. Atul, could you deliberate on what you are going to talk about?
All right, fantastic. So inner circle is, so let me give you some figures, okay? As eGrowth, we are connected to around 2 lakh business owners. Out of these 2 lakh business owners, around 30,000 are loosely connected to eGrowth on various social media platforms. Out of those 30,000, around 500 of them are subscribers, so paid subscribers to eGrowth. And out of those 500, there are only 35 who are members of the Inner Circle. Inner Circle is a global platform which meets every Friday morning. So we have a conversation for around 1.5 hours, wherein we work on 5 elements. The first element is opportunities. The second element is challenges, wherein one person comes up front, shares the challenge, and rest everybody and deliberates on that challenge. The third element that we work on is knowledge sharing. Every time we have one person who would come and share some knowledge. Okay. The fourth element that we work on are the second degree contacts. So all the members of Inner Circle, they shared their valued contacts, and the access is available only to the Inner Circle members, not to everybody else. So you can always reach out to fellow Inner Circle members and get across to these valued contacts. And the fifth element that we work on is the industry connect. We are in touch with around 300 associations and chambers and other industry bodies. So all those are available to you if you are a member of the Inner Circle. Tomorrow, when I am going to be there for the create session is the section where we talk about the challenges. So we will be talking about, so since I will be taking be the person who's presenting it, I would be talking about how to take eGrowth to the next level. And we will throw this question open to everybody who's present on the Inner Circle. So if you want to contribute to how you want to take eGrowth to the next level, where you see eGrowth, we would love to have you tomorrow for that. Sanjeev ji is the president of the Inner Circle. He is the one who's taken it on his shoulders, and he has been doing an awesome job. Sanjeev ji, anything else you want me to share?
No, fine. I would like that everyone should come over, join us tomorrow at 8 o'clock. We'll all be looking for you.
And you will please share the login details so that people are able to join. All right?
I'll do that.
All right. Great. Okay. Thank you. See you guys tomorrow.
Okay,
have a great evening and keep rocking, keep growing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Colonel Cheema.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great.